Welcome to the Fundamentals Podcast. I am not a professional at anything sports. I'm not a professional writer or any of that. It's the fundamentals because I'm just a simple fan expressing my views and grievances as a fan. Simple as that, plain and simple. Not gonna hold you too long. Make it make it short and sweet. Um, It's been a couple weeks since I've been on here, so I just wanted to give a quick, little, simple episode. Nothing too major. I wanted to kind of talk about the NFL playoffs, and I know it's a whole week that's went by, but I wanted to get some things off my chest. Um, Being that I am a diehard Rams fan, I have been long before many of these new fans. I've been go back to Jim Everett with me. Um, but I've been a Rams fan for a long time. Um, so for starters, this weekend was full of a lot of stories for the NFL. Of course, we know what Philly had been going through. Uh, uh, Tampa had been kind of, you know what I mean. They've been having a nice run. It hasn't been pretty, but it's been an ugly, nice run. So that was a story with Tampa and Philly. Dallas, the history of Dallas and Green Bay, especially playoff wise, when we talk about the Des Bryant and was it a catch or was it not a catch, all of that. And the biggest one of them all, LA going to Detroit, Stafford going back to Detroit, Jared Goff being able to get revenge on the team that quote quote the stories quote quote the Rams threw him away. To me, it seemed like I'll be fair. In the beginning, I didn't really care for the trade. Um, I thought a lot of Matthew Stafford's numbers were inflated those years, because he had Calvin Johnson, Megatron. So I thought there was a lot of inflation. I didn't give him a lot of credit. I'll be honest in that when he first got to LA. Um, I saw some other things in him later on, but let's go back to my initial thing. We saw the games, we saw what happened. Buffalo beating Pittsburgh, and the whole Tomlin thing, and him being asked about his contract and him walking off the stage. That was funny to me. I like Tomlin as a coach. He's cool. He's been able to make some, regardless of what anybody says, he's been able to make some trash teams make it to the playoffs. All right, you can say that. He hasn't been winning in the playoffs over the last few years. Um, the fact that he's taken them to the playoffs is amazing in its own right. So that alone, I think he's a great coach. He has not had a losing season. Um, the Green Bay Dallas game, I've been known as a Dallas Cowboy hater. I have a lot of people that I know, friends that are Dallas Cowboys. I live here in Texas, so I have a lot of people that I know that are Dallas Cowboy fans. I do have some friends that are Green Bay fans. Um, so that game, of course, I want Dallas to lose, right? But did I think they were going to lose? No, I didn't, honestly. And it wasn't just the fact that they lost, but it was in the fashion that they lost. It was bad. It was ugly. Dallas came out flat. Uh they didn't look like Dallas. Like on paper, let's be real. Dallas is a really good team. And statistically across the season, they've been good. I've crapped on them because they hadn't been beating any like solid good teams. So I have crapped on them a little bit. I haven't given them, you know, the reins to say that they were some great solid team. But they've been pretty good. I mean, Dak Prescott is who he is. I don't think you're going to get anything more than what you get in the playoffs from him. His roof my personal opinion, I think he's hit his ceiling. You're not gonna get more than what you get out of him in the playoffs, right? It's a I believe it just to be a different animal based on what I've uh, heard other professionals say. So I just don't think you're gonna get any more out of him from what I see. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm just a fan. I'm sitting on my couch. I'm that guy, right? Just watching, right? Um, but the entire team looked really flat. I mean, CeeDee Lamb. I mean, the defense, the secondary was getting torched. They couldn't stop the run. Aaron Jones was having his way. So yeah, across the board on every level, Dallas got beat. Now one could say, and I've said this for years, Jerry Jones is part of the issue. You got to think when you have an owner that wants to be the general manager, realistically wants to be the coach. All these things, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of pressure. When you have the owner just constantly in the mix, I imagine that it is a lot of pressure on coaches. It's a lot of pressure on players. Um, and it probably does sit and manifest, and in some ways it probably does affect them to understand that the owner is just that, you know what I mean? um all the owners are watching their team, but Jerry is a different beast. He wants to be the first to speak about the game and all of that. It's constantly about him with the team, and so I think that has a lot to do with what we've seen over the last few years when Dallas does make it to the playoffs. I think I think there's there's a fair argument in that. And no moves have really been made. I know at first, right after the game, they were talking about Belichick and Jim Harbaugh and all the coaching and all of that stuff. I know that was a big thing that people talked about and possibly could they be bringing in another coach? And nothing's happened, and that's kind of died down. Um, Do I think that it's a coaching issue? No, honestly, I do not think it's a coaching issue. I, I, you're not going to get anything better than Dak Prescott. You're not going to get better than that. I just, it's going to take a perfect game from him. But the thing is, if you want a Super Bowl from Dak Prescott, you're not getting it. You're not getting it. You're just not getting it. Plain and simple. So you got to call a spade a spade. Um, so I mean that's all you really got to say. Jordan Love, I think is yeah, Jordan Love. Man, that kid. I wasn't really high on him because I hadn't had a chance to really watch him. And again, I'm a Rams fan, but I do watch other players. I do watch football. I watch uh, and Jordan Love. I mean, he looked really good. Looked really good. The thing is, I think Green Bay over the last 30 years, when they acquired Brett Favre um, from the Atlanta Falcons, when they got him from the Atlanta Falcons, um, I don't think I don't think systematically they didn't know what Brett Favre was going to be. I don't think it was necessarily set up like this with Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Rodgers to sit behind him like this and learn the way he did, and then Aaron Rodgers come out and be a bad man, as Stephen A. says. I don't think that it was set up like that, but I think because that happened, they learned something, and I think Jordan Love sitting behind Aaron Rodgers because when I don't know if anybody else noticed, but a lot of him playing. And that looked a lot like, and again, I hadn't watched a lot of them. So for me, it was the first time actually sitting back and being able to watch a whole game with them. And it looked a lot like it was very Aaron Rodgers esque. It was very Aaron Rodgers esque looking to me. So um, he's got a bright future. Um, and that young Green Bay team, they got a bright future. Biggest thing I want to get to, man. I don't even really want to talk about the Bills Pittsburgh game. It wasn't. I mean, it was what it was, right? Um, Biggest thing I want to get to. 'Cause I'm not gonna talk a whole lot about the Philadelphia Tampa game. I mean, not a whole lot to talk about. Um, let's get into this Detroit and Los Angeles Rams game. Let me get comfortable for this one. All right. Okay. First of all, it was a really good game. Uh, that game could have went either way. Yeah, it was super physical. Did I think there was some? Did I think there were some dirty things from Detroit? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think it was some let's try to hurt Stafford. It, People are going to be like, oh, it's football, but I do think they were set out to like intentionally try to hurt Stafford because I've seen a lot of elbows and forearms go for his head. Um, Historically, well, I would say over the last 6, 7 years, we do not get a lot of roughing the passer calls our way, right? Fair enough. That's, uh, we can go through all these conspiracy theories. Doesn't matter, right? Um, None of that matters. And none of what I'm saying matters. The game's over. It's been over for a whole week now, almost a week. Um, but first of all, um, Stafford did a lot for that city. Clearly, yeah, I mean, even anybody knows that, right? For him to be booed, for his kids to be booed, his wife to be booed, his kids be booed, him be booed uh, at that game, and people can't say they didn't boo his wife. I have the video, so they booed his wife, they booed his family when they came, when they were on the field. I just think that was like real shitty from from Detroit. First of all, y'all ain't won shit. Like not a fucking thing, right? Not even a fucking playoff game in 30 years, right? Um, so that is trash right there, right? And my issue is I advocated so much for Detroit and why their fans deserve this, right? And even the whole thing with Dallas and all that going on, and I was such an advocate for Detroit deserved better. That was messed up, and it doesn't change the fact I still think that call when they played Dallas, I still think that referee screwed up, right? But at the same time, like I've been such an advocate for Dallas fans being deserving of something good in that city because I am a fan of Jared Goff. And after this weekend, after the game, I've seen some really ugly things that the Detroit fans have said. Um, and I do have a friend of mine that is a huge Detroit fan, and he said, "Well, you can't treat the whole fan base, uh, you can't treat the whole fan base like they said it." Oh yeah, I can because that's sports. That's what we do, right? That's part of it. I can treat the whole fan base of the Detroit Lions like shit because they said some really ugly things and I didn't like it, right? Um, And again, that's what we do as fans. We argue each other. Just like I don't like San Francisco 49er fans at all, but one of my best friends is a San Francisco 49er fan. I would never say the things to him that I say to some of the fans on Twitter. And I'm not real ugly. I'm not a, I'm not a jackass on there. I don't I felt like it was super personal. Like, I have a tweet, and I don't know if I want to really release that, but I have a tweet that was sent out, and it said that I wish that both Tyler Higbee's knees would have gotten broken, right, from that hit late in the game. Um, that's we're going beyond football, man. That's not cool. That's not that's not a fandom thing. That's ugly, man. To wish somebody's career to be over, that's not cool. Uh, you know, Anybody that watched the game saw Matthew Stafford get hit. They took him out, put him in the tent to do to check to make sure he didn't have a concussion. Um, you could say that his eyes rolled back in his head. I just think they put it in slow mo so it looked worse than it was when his head hit the ground. His head did indeed hit the ground. Do I believe that he was thrown off? Yeah, but I don't think it was as bad as the replay, the slow mo that people were putting on there was was as significant as the things that were said. But again, Detroit fans, the whole I wish he would have stayed down. I wish he would have been knocked out. Go night night, bitch, and all of that stuff, right? Uncalled for, unnecessary. And some of those things that I saw, uh, I was just like, man, you know what? Like, f them, man. Like, screw them. Like, I don't want them to win shit. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't want them to win a damn thing. Like, I would love for Tampa to beat them next week. Like, I was because even Matthew Stafford came out and said, he told Jared Goff, go win it all. Like, and for fans to boo him and then be mad that at a presser he was asked, you know, how do you feel about Detroit? What are your feelings about Detroit? And he said, I'm happy for the players. Well, fans are mad about that. You booed him. Like, you said ugly, vile things about him. You booed him and his family. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna be happy for y'all either. So I'm gonna be happy for the players too if I'm him. So, with that said, there's a level of this. I'm cool with any fan. I'll talk smack with any fan. It's all fun and games. I'll joke with you. I don't take it too serious because at the end of the day, we just fans, man. We just watching. It's entertainment. It's just. But at the end of the day, for me, it's all love. I'll talk to any fan of any team with love too. We can smack talk in a positive way. It don't got to be ugly. You know what I mean? But like, even when I was on TikTok, and I had to this was the day after the game, after I seen some of these ugly texts, right? I was on TikTok, and there was a guy, and he was a Detroit Lion fan, and he was going live on TikTok. And I jumped in and I messaged. I said, why are Detroit Lions fans? Why are they so why are they like this? Why are they so ungraceful? Why are they y'all ain't won nothing? And his response to that was, we're number one at what? When have y'all won anything? Like, when? When have y'all won anything? Ooh, y'all won the division this year. Ooh, wow. Okay. And what one of those in 30 years, and y'all all of a sudden y'all number one, y'all big shit now. The whole country now, uh outside of Rams fans, I think the whole country is kind of like on this Detroit bandwagon because it's like a great story. It's like this cool comeback story. But man, I'm telling you, my point of view, their fans don't deserve this shit. I hope they go another 30 years of trash. Another 30 of trash. And that's how I feel about that. I don't have nothing else to say about that. I told myself I was done with it. I tweeted that. I'm done with them. I'm done with that. Uh, and I don't have no love for them. No love for them. I can't say that I dislike them more than Seattle fans or San Francisco 49er fans or Arizona Cardinals fans because I'm a Ram fan. It's division rival. But they're right up there with them. Detroit is. They're right up there with them. And they're not division. They're none of that, completely different division. It used to be, I used to kind of root for Detroit against Green Bay. Now, Green Bay, go win. Now, Chicago next season, go win. Minnesota, go win. All right. Because that fan base has lost all my respect. And it sucks because I really like Jared Goff, but they just don't deserve it. So that's all I got this episode. I know it was kind of like I said, it wasn't so much sports. It was me getting this off my chest as a fan. This is the Fundamentals podcast. I just wanted y'all to know how I felt as a fan. Anyway, thank you for checking it out. If you listened through the whole thing, if you didn't, well, then you won't be seeing this right now. So anyway, again, to the ones who listened to the whole thing, checked out the whole thing, appreciate it. That's how I feel. I'm out. I hope y'all enjoy the games this weekend. Peace out.